Hi, I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and I've been called the Big Game Hunter because I've been coaching people and hunting down leaders and staff for more than 40 years. Now, right now, we're in relatively good economic times, but that doesn't mean a layoff isn't going to be coming, because the reality is, as you and I both know intellectually, that there's business cycles, and there are good times and then there are bad times. And when there are bad times, the layoffs come. And when there are good times, no one thinks that they're ever going to be laid off. But I want to get you prepared. I want you to recognize the cycles in how the layoffs come in. So the first stage of the layoff cycle is your office may start to rumble with rumors, and people start to talk and gossip about things that they've heard and what's going to happen next. But the fact of the matter is, the staff doesn't know anything. It's trying to make sense out of what seems like a scary situation. No one really knows anything, and everyone starts to believe something. And as a result, everyone talks, and a lot of people tend to interpret different contingencies and speculate about things they hear from one another that have no basis in reality. Often what starts to happen is absenteeism starts to increase as people become ill, if you get my meaning, or try to get a head start on job hunting. And managers start to approach select employees. So that's the first step. The second one is you're not on the list. A list starts to be rumored about, and you're not on it. And that may be true today, but it may not be true 3 weeks from now. I met with someone a while back who was told that she wasn't on the list. And she was told by her boss, who ostensibly was privy to know who was on the list. But apparently 3 weeks later, she was on the list, and her boss wasn't at the meeting where he was put on the list, and they both wound up being out of jobs. So suddenly you're not on the list becomes you're on the list. Now, what's often helpful is if they give you pre-notice, like your manager comes to you and says, Susan, you're on the list. And what happens is it gives you a head start on heading for the doors. You know you're going to be fired with the next layoff, so you start looking now. There's a guy I knew some time back who was working for a bank who was told by his boss that he was going to be in the next round of job cuts. So according to bank policy, he knew his severance so he could have the time ready to use this time before the actual layoff to get his resume ready and get out on some interviews. Worked beautifully for him. Now, there's a couple of other contingencies, and that is actually one big one, and that is if you stay until such and such date, we've got a great deal for you. Now, in this situation, you can have an acquiring firm that's going to consolidate, and there are going to be layoffs as a result of that. Now, in an acquisition, sometimes what your management says and what happens when the new management comes in be completely different. So there was an instance where I'll use the firm's name. Bear Stearns was being acquired by JP Morgan Chase. So there was this support guy who was doing executive support for Bear Stearns, who was approached to stay on with the firm during the acquisition until it closed. And then he was going to get this huge severance. Only one problem. The acquiring firm wasn't told anything about this. They didn't know anything about the promise that if he stayed on until the end, they'd double his pay as severance. So I understand why he stayed until the end, but the acquirer didn't know anything about it. So the result was he got the standard bank layout package from the acquiring firm instead of $180,000. So just be aware that this kind of stuff happens. And when they start talking with you about the sweet deal, particularly in acquisition, you want to know who on the other side of the deal is going to know about this and sign off on it before you get hoodwinked. So I'm Jeff Altman. Hope you found this helpful. Visit my website, which is thebiggamehunter.us. There's a lot more there that you can watch, listen to, or read to help you find your next situation more quickly. And if we are connected on LinkedIn, send a connection request. The address is linkedin.com/IN/the-big-game-hunter. I accept connection requests from people worldwide, except if you look like a spammer or scammer, except if you're a third-party recruiter. So I hope you found this helpful. Again, my website is thebiggamehunter.us. Hope you have a great day. Take care.